We're 100 days out from the start of the Summer Olympics, and that means Bob Costas, Mr. Olympics, joining us live from Rio. How popular are you in Rio, Bob?
Well, first of all, hola, Dan. And
wow.
by my unofficial calculations, I would say that 1 in every 6 to 7 million Brazilians knows me by name. So I'm awfully proud of that.
So you sound fluent in Spanish right now. So that
well, actually, they speak Portuguese in Brazil, but hola apparently works across both languages.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you're fluent in both languages, is what you're saying.
Fluent enough to greet somebody. After that, I'm kind of on my own, floundering around as usual.
All right. When you first get there, like, do you know the Olympics are going to be there 100 days out? I mean, what do we see when we land in Rio?
It isn't something that's everywhere you look at this point. But right now I'm speaking to you from Copacabana Beach, which is not only one of the most visually arresting settings you could ever imagine, but it's the site of the beach volleyball where Kerry Walsh Jennings and others will go at it, and where maybe the party atmosphere that they hope will prevail and be the lasting impression rather than the various issues that they faced leading up to the games. The party atmosphere should be at its peak night and day here on Copacabana Beach. So you do get some of that feeling, but I think it will be maybe a month or so from now before the whole city begins to feel like an Olympic city.
Biggest story going in right now, and granted, we're 3 months out, but Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, or is there other, if you were going to check the box, of biggest story?
Well, in terms of competition, if you look at it not from an American viewpoint, I think what Usain Bolt has a chance to do might be greater this time around than what Michael Phelps has a chance to do. And Phelps's crowning achievement was Beijing in 2008. That's when Bolt set his world record and stunned the entire planet, not just by beating everybody, but leaving them in his dust. But now he's trying to win the 100 and the 200 and anchor the 4x100, sweep those 3 gold medals for a third consecutive Olympics. So in terms of a signature achievement, if Bolt pulls that off, I think that will be greater for his legacy than what Phelps might be able to do here in Rio, which is add to his already record haul of 22 gold medals. But I don't think that would be as distinctive to him as what Bolt is trying to do.
Is Phelps recognized as the greatest Olympian?
There's so many ways you can come at that. If you're just going by pure medals won, yes. But, of course, there are certain sports like gymnastics and swimming where there are more medals available. You can make an argument that in terms of impact, Jesse Owens in 1936 had a greater lasting impact, and then he was deprived of a chance to come back in 1940 and 44 because of World War II. There were no Olympic Games. And until recent generations, many athletes only competed in 1 or 2 Olympics because they had to be pure amateurs and they had to go and make a living. So Eric Heiden went to a Winter Olympics, won 5 gold medals in 5 attempts, and then went off to become a doctor. Do you make an argument for Carl Lewis because he, like Jesse Owens, not only won sprint events, but he won the long jump? I mean, there's so many different ways to come at it, but the numerical argument for Phelps is hard to refute.
He's Roberto Costas, who joins us live from Rio. Dan Patrick.
By the way, let me correct myself. 22 total medals for Phelps, 18 of them gold.
American breakout star? Do you have a name?
It could be Simone Biles, the gymnast, and it's interesting because Ali Raisman and Gabby Douglas are back from the Fierce Five that did so well in London and captured, I think especially Gabby, just such a winning personality, captured everybody's affections. But Simone Biles, who's 19 years old, has won the last 3 world championships, so she could be a breakout star from an American perspective.
The Zika virus, pollution in some of the water competitions. As we found out once we got to Sochi, what was reported was different than what we saw at Sochi. What is the case with Rio?
Well, the Olympic organizers, and I've had conversations with them, believe that they will have it under control. Will it be no problem at all? Even they won't say that. But they believe they'll have it under control. The first thing they cite is that August is actually winter in Brazil. Now, you're near the equator, so it's not like people are going to be bundled up. It's still going to be warm, but it's not as hot, not as humid. The mosquito population is much diminished, and so they believe that the Zika virus would actually be a greater concern in other parts of the world by August than it will be here in Brazil, which doesn't mean it's no concern at all. I spoke with the U.S. ambassador, and she said that American tourists, and they expect more than 100,000 of them to come for the Olympics, maybe close to 200,000 Americans to be there, should go to travel.state.gov to educate themselves about common sense steps they should take if they're concerned about the Zika virus, if they're concerned about water quality.
How many more Olympics are you going to host?
I'm on a case-by-case basis, my boy.
Really?
Yeah, but I've said that for a long time.
But what's it hinge on? That like, what would make you not want to do it after Rio, and what would make you want to do it after Rio?
You know, what would make me want to continue to do it, along with other things that I do, is how much I enjoy my colleagues, how much I respect what they do, the good feeling you get from carrying the ball for them when you're the host in prime time. On the other hand, what would make me not want to do it is that this will be my 11th time as the primetime host and my 12th Olympics overall, if you count late night in Seoul in 1988. And, you know, you don't want to overstay your welcome. Maybe to some people I already have, but I'd like to leave when it's my decision rather than have someone wrap their arm around my shoulder and say, hey, you know, Bob, here's a suggestion for you. Yeah. A little villa somewhere in Bermuda. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, they just brought in Mike Tirico, so who knows, Bob? We're all in trouble.
You know, at least he's one of my Syracuse guys. You know, and then Sean McDonough will take over Monday Night Football. It's a whole Syracuse cabal.
Yeah, nice. Hey, great to hear from you. Safe travels as always, and I'll see you in a few months.
All right, Dan. Take care.
That's Bob Costas joining us from Copacabana Beach.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.